Welcome to another video of Do You Know What to Do? Today we have another cushion problem. Can you explain that?
I can. And the reason why you have cushion problems, well, most of the complaints are from cushions, is because obviously you use it every time you sit down. They take a lot of abuse. This particular problem's been bothering this person, this client of ours, for about 4 years minimum. She's had work done on them before and she wasn't happy with the results. So she gave it to us. Hopefully we can make her happy. If your cushion is matting in the front and getting real flat, smashed down in the front, and it doesn't look as plush and as crown as it once did when it was new, this could be your problem and we can help you.
Definitely.
So keep watching. Here we are again.
We're just testing.
Hello. We're going to show you number 3.
Why are you trying to save a dead joke?
So we're going to simply take you step by step on how we solve this problem. First thing is to get the cushion out of the cover and then get that foam out of the duvet wrapping.
Alright, now as he's doing that, I'm going to cut the other part of the foam that we're going to glue to it.
Yeah, because we already know the size from the other one.
Right.
That we're going to need. So this is how we're going to do it.
I don't really like fast forwarding. It always kind of seems a little cheesy, you know.
So as you can see, this is the foam core inside that duvet cover or that feather wrapping. But a little word of caution. When you're opening it up to get out the foam core, make sure you don't go into a feather pocket because you'll have feathers everywhere. You can see they're sewn like this here where this is opened up and the foam core can come out. So what I got to do is get this out. I'm going to show you how I came to the conclusion that we just need to make this foam a little bit longer. That's all it is. So it's not going to be easy, but once you find out the first problem, if you have a two-seater, unless this is a chair, you have to take this thing out. But this is a love seat, so we have just two we're going to deal with. Then you don't need to do the second one. What I would do is just peel this back like this, here, that, enough so I don't get glue on the cover. Glue this, glue your foam piece that you're going to stick on because you know the measurements, you've already got everything you need. And then just put that onto the foam core and then close this back up and it'll match the first one you did. But for the viewing sake, I'm going to pull this out of here and show you how we came up with what we did. Try not to move the feathers too much where they're pulling in one area. Try to keep it as flat as you can. Just do the best you can. One thing I don't like in particular that this factory did is they didn't put pockets in here. There should be pockets. That keeps the feathers from shifting from the back or to the front. They didn't do that. So I could literally shake all these feathers toward the front or toward the back. So the better quality ones, I mean, it's a decent, reputable manufacturer, but they could have done another step that might have even brought it up even higher, is put some seams right here. The better ones do that. This one didn't do that. So I'm going to set this aside over here. Bring the foam over. Isn't this lovely? And we're going to take our tape measure. Now remember, we measured the outside cover, and it was 28. And this here is 26 cut. Now the left to right wasn't a problem. Okay, so we didn't deal with that. But it is a problem with the front to back, front here, back there. 2 more inches, I think, would do it because 26 plus 2 is 28. And that's going to make this foam go toward the front. So what I'm going to do is, I don't like spraying indoors, so I'm going to take this outside. I'm going to spray on what Grant cut. I think this is the one right here, which is 2-inch piece of foam right there. And that should be perfectly fine. That's going to give us that much more room toward the front of the cushion. Okay, so when we put this on, glue this on rather, I'm going to put this back into the duvet or feather covering. Incidentally, when you do spray, spray both surfaces. spray this and spray the actual foam core itself. That gives a real strong bond. So that's what I'm going to do next. I'm going to peel this little label off, go out there and spray, and be right back. Okay, so it's all glued and ready to go. All we got to do is get it back in its cover.
Right. Now, we mentioned before that we felt like this foam was worth saving.
We did.
Now, how do we tell that it's worth saving from this, you know?
That's a great question. You know, the complaint was that the client didn't like it shifting from the front to the back.
Okay.
So when we pulled it out of the duvet cover, we saw that it was very, firm, keeping its buoyancy.
Keeps its shape.
Yeah, it looked like it was in good shape. And, we don't like throwing things away if we don't have to. And the great thing is you get to give clients good news because it's going to be less expensive. So that's
the best news.
Yeah, they love that. It's not going to be a complete replacement. So that's what we determined, like, hey, this foam is not bad. I jumped on the phone and told her that I think I can solve the problem without replacing all the foam. And she said, okay, great. But I think the first thing really excited was, less cost. Because I did tell her that first. But nonetheless, I think she was happy that she could save it as well. And if you can do that, you're going to save yourself money, and you're going to save keeping the stuff out of the landfill. You're going to keep it out longer than it would have been.
Yeah.
Right?
Because it still has a long natural life. You know,
Right.
it's not like this thing's got like a couple of weeks. It's got years.
Yeah,
you know?
it's got years ago. Right.
So
Right. So just keep it going, and that's what we did. So that's a good question. That's how we could tell that the buoyancy is there, the shape was there, but most importantly, the comfort is there. She didn't complain about that. She complained about the shifting. And we think this is going to solve the problem. In fact, we know it's going to solve the problem. So let's get it back in its duvet cover, and we're going to show you how it's going to look.
all right.
So you're going to want to start with the half T, and the reason why we say that, because obviously it's half of a T. It's missing the other leg, if you would. We're going to get this started by... Actually, I did that wrong. Let's start by going in like this. Try to work the T in first, or the half T. You can press it down. Try to keep the boxing, that is this, the band, whatever you want to call it, border, lined up, and keep flipping it over. Like I said before, this one doesn't have the sewn pockets, which I wish it did, because the feathers would stay in one area. Now reach your hand up in this area for the half T and work it up in there. Okay, this looks pretty good. This one did a little bit better than the first one because the other one, a lot of the feathers pilled right here in the center. I see too much activity going here toward the back, so all I got to do is shift these forward. Some ways you can do that, since this does not have seams, like one here, let's say like one here, one there. Usually it's three, 1, 2, 3. That keeps the feathers from shifting from the front to the back. Since this does not have that, you can turn this cushion up and then shake it and bring those feathers toward the middle. And they are going to work their way back, but at least you're getting them toward the front and evened out before you close at the back, which we're going to show you how to do that really easy, real fast. So all I have to do is take my needle and thread like this and close up the back.
All right. Now, you could use, if you want, staples.
Yeah, you could definitely use staples. Yeah, that's really fast and easy. But just because it's a client of ours, if it's for you, just use staples if you want. If not, sew it shut. But we're going to go ahead and use needle and thread.
Right.
So we're going to do that and then get right back and put it in the cover and be done with this. So a fast way to tie off a knot, all I did is what I think some people refer to as a whip stitch or a potato sack stitch, because it's like you go from the outside, you're just like going from the outside of the seam and you're making a loop, okay, instead of like doing carefully inside of a seam and then back out. I'm just taking the seam and just looping the seam itself. So a quick way to tie a knot at the end of a whip stitch, I think that's what it's called, is we're going to simply go through like this, okay? Get your needle to go through, and then wrap this around your needle. Yeah, that's like 3-4 times. Pull it through, like that, and then it ties a nice little knot, or it tangles itself, okay? And then I'm going to cut this and then cut or tie knots there. So let me reach in over here and then simply tie knots like that. Maybe just, maybe just 2, maybe 3, whatever. And that's fine. So what I think they call is a whip stitch, like that, and then at the end tie the needle around the knot, pull it through, or around the thread rather. Cut the excess and make knots. Okay, so the sewing's all complete, and we're going to simply put the cover back on. This is a half T, as we said. Start with getting the half T in there. Unfortunately, this is
a one-person job.
It is. Hey, you want to do it? No.
I just like looking. No.
That's fine. I don't blame you, man. Okay. I'm just slipping the half T in there. Like so. We turn it toward you. Just like that. Find the other end. Remember, hold your zippers tight. You don't want to bust them. That's another job. Goodness, you're just adding to it. I'm going to slip this in. Let me turn this up here.
Okay. Go about halfway down the cushion.
Yeah,
flip
something
it
like
over.
that. Press down to it. So hold your zipper and press down.
Get over the top of your arm.
Right. Try to keep the boxing straight. Or
Hit with your left. Hit with your right.
That's right. It's kind of
Left, right, right, right.
You're funny. Okay. I kind of agree with you. Trying to line that up.
Okay. Careful with that zipper.
Yeah. It's a mess if you break the zippers.
I've done it before.
Yeah, so have I. It's a pain. Get all the Decor, any threads out of the way of the teeth of the zippers, or the zipper. Flip that over. All right.
All right. Now, as you can see, we're kind of massaging the feathers to the front because this thing doesn't have channels.
The channels.
So it'd be evenly distributed if it did have channels, but
Doesn't have it. Channels are the best. It keeps them in place. But we'll keep working this forward a little bit. But we do know she's not going to have the problem that she complained about, and that was
lack of support in the front.
Right. It was sagging, and because most people want to sit up front, lay back, enjoy their evening, and that's understandable.
Yeah.
But it shifted this foam toward the back. So if this is your problem, we think this is your solution. You may not need to replace all your foam. You might just need to put a piece of foam in the back, shove the foam toward the front, and there's no more saggy, slaggy looking cushion. Right? Might look new for many more years.
And you don't have to throw it in the landfill.
No.
So, it's a perfectly good piece of foam in there.
Too much furniture is being thrown in the trash. It doesn't need to be. So a repair is always best. Replacements are necessary, but this doesn't look like that was the case.
Yeah.
So we always enjoy you watching. If you haven't already, please subscribe, or at least give us a thumbs up.
And please do comment.
Right, and tell a friend. Thanks. See you next time.
Now you know
what to do. Okay, man, that was another good video, man. Nice job.
Thanks, Dad.
All right, so we got to clean up because we got a big day tomorrow,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Well, dinner's ready, and it's getting a little late, so I'm sorry.
You're kidding
I'll keep
me.
it warm
No,
for
you do this
I'll be
every
back.
time. I'm cleaning up by myself.